Joining us now, Congressman Denver Riggleman, representing the 5th District of Virginia. That's the south side, going from, I guess, Lynchburg all the way through Mineta, Virginia, through Danville. Hey, Denver, great to have you with us, sir.
Good morning. How you doing, John?
Oh, I'm doing fine. I can't wait to get a new cooling system and get my free 65-inch TV just in time for the Super Bowl from James River Air. So, of course, I'm in a good mood. Denver, give us an impeachment update. What's the ruse there? What is going on? Adam Schiff talking for 2.5 hours?
I think I would say the most valuable member of Trump's defense team on impeachment is Adam Schiff. He's an interesting guy, and I think people are starting to see really how irrational that individual is. And, you know, I've been all around the district the last 3 days. I think I've had 18 meetings. And people will, sort of snidely mention impeachment. But I think what the Democrats have done after their disastrous House hearing with the professors and now this and what they're saying on the Senate floor, you honestly can just feel the complete impeachment balloon deflating for Democrats, and especially out here on the ground. I think they need to stop while they're ahead. This is not going to go well for them.
So the way we're looking at it, Denver, is Denver Riggleman with us. This looks like yesterday looked like a 3-hour Adam Schiff infomercial on why not to vote for Trump. But we played some of the clips today, and it was, look, Adam Schiff is actually a pretty effective presenter. You can see the guy was a trial lawyer. But, one of the things he said is, well, this has to be decided here in the Senate because, we can't decide this at the ballot box because basically he said Trump is going to win again. What type of logic is that?
Well, I've seen some effective presenters who have no integrity. That's Adam Schiff. And that lack of integrity, lack of transparency, and his hyperbole shines through, especially when he talked about impeachment as it relates to the Russians getting in the way of the election in 2020. That right there just shut down anything he could have done for a realistic argument on impeachment. And I think that's what's happening is you can be effective, but you can also be just untrustworthy. And nobody trusts what this guy says. And I've seen it in person, right? I've been in the circus. I don't have to watch the circus. I've been in it. And to watch this guy, you just shake your head. And he really is a partisan. He doesn't care about the United States. He cares about re-election, and he cares about following the whims of the speaker. I mean, he's a Pelosi puppet, and if people don't see that, I just don't know how to help him at this point.
Well, where do we go from here with this impeachment? I mean, some of the what do they have? They get they're getting 24 hours of making their case. Then Republicans get 24 hours to rebut. It's over a number of days. And how long is this trial going to last, Congressman?
I don't think any longer than a week or two. I just don't think you're going to see it. I tell you, in 2 weeks, I think we'll be back to regular order and trying to get things done in Congress for the American people. And that's why they wanted to push this out. If you think about Pelosi's 28 days, right? The issue is their polling's upside down in the 31 swing counties. They don't know how to react to it. And those 31 swing counties are Trump counties that have Democratic representatives right now. What do? Right? There was a 24-point flip the last time I got briefed, and independents they're against impeachment now. 24 points in those 31 swing districts. A lot of fear on the Democrats that there could be history made here, and actually in the first 2 years flip the House back to the Republican side based on the polling they're seeing right now on impeachment. So I think this is going to go away quickly.
Okay, so when you say flip this out, I mean, or flip the House back based on impeachment, let's just be candid, Congressman Denver Riggleman. Both of us have seen the internal polls in the 40 swing districts, if you will, or the 38 of them, whatever they are, of Democrats who won in districts in 2018 that the president carried in 2016, right? Internal polling that we have seen shows that if the election were held today, the Republicans would be back in the majority. How does that change? I think it's going to get worse.
I do too, especially with the economy. Well, now that you have the USMCA and you have the Phase 1 China deal, you're looking at, no kidding, a half-point bump in GDP over whatever that growth is going to be this year also. Now you're starting to see some panic set in. And on the Democratic Party side. And I don't think it's going to change. I don't feel a change. I feel like the excitement has switched back to the Republican side, and I think a lot of it has to do with the really the Democratic Party going absolutely loco to the far left. And you can see that in Virginia, right? We're seeing that now in our Commonwealth. You're seeing the exact same thing in our Commonwealth. Listen, this could be the shortest tenure for a majority ever based on the craziness that's coming out of the Virginia State Legislature. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And I think what you're saying is the normal people brigade is going to step up, normal, sane people, and say, we are not going to listen to this government overreach, this hyperbole, this fanaticism, these emotional responses, where we need rational debate, and we would rather see Congress trying to get things done rather than completely pursuing impeachment for the fourth time. And my guess is we might even see a fifth impeachment. Who knows? Maybe there's something else they got brewing out there. So we'll see. But right now they're having a tough time. And remember, November is not that far away.
You're on the John Fredericks Radio Network, Truck the Truth Across America. We're with Congressman Denver Riggleman, Republican, 5th District, South Side, Virginia. So the president yesterday, he was on Fox News, I think the Maria Bartiromo show, and he said, look, Virginia's in play. He said, based on what I saw, all these people coming to this rally, I think that they've overreached. I think we can win Virginia. I happen to agree with him. I think it depends, obviously, on a lot of factors who the nominee is. But Denver Riggleman, let me just ask you this. I mean, the Democrats in Virginia basically mocked the rally. They stayed away. We were there for 10 hours online. We had to give on-the-ground, truthful reporting on scene to combat the fake news lying media that gave a narrative that was completely false. There were about 50,000 people there, not 22,000 that they were saying. There were 50,000 when you take all of the people that came on all the streets. But the Democrats thumbed their nose at it. I mean, the next day they passed a bunch of gun-grabbing bills. They don't care. They mocked the rally and basically said, it was out-of-state people. Nobody cares. Christopher Newport University re-sent a poll out. They did December 16th saying people are in favor of all these gun-grabbing things. That's kind of an arrogant attitude when 50,000 people show up for a rally on a Monday, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, what was the new stat, John? Over 50% of the people now in the House and the state Senate have not been born in Virginia.
Yes.
And most of them completely new. They're not even Virginia by grace yet. I got to I'm frustrated, and sometimes I know you can hear my frustration and my anger. Being in Congress for a year and seeing what's happening in my Commonwealth, there's even laws being passed that last year passed for small business. They're trying to destroy with the taxes being raised. Because people talk about the Second Amendment stuff, the other there's incredibly dangerous bills out there, like the fact that the popular vote of the country will determine Virginia's electoral votes. I know you've seen that one, John, and that's insane. So I got to tell you, mocking Second Amendment supporters in the cradle of the Constitution, specifically here in the 5th District, where James Madison was the first congressman, you are ridiculously poking and trying to get a response from peaceful people. And that's what they're trying to do. I've never seen such irresponsible behavior from the left. And at some point, we have to get over this 42% participation rate and take back our government. And if people are not going to get involved and they scream on social media or they wave their hands frantically or they're screaming into a popcorn box, that doesn't help. You have to mobilize people and get to the ballot box. You've got to do this. Elections have consequences. And on July 1st, we haven't seen anything yet. Wait till these laws go into effect. How are people going to react then? And you're going to see a lot of arrogance from the Democrats, absolutely thumbing their nose and looking down on people who believe their constitutional rights are more important than the government controlling their lives.
A lot of hubris I'm finding from some of the Democrats in the House. Many of them come on my show. I like to talk to people. Denver, you and I are the same on this. You have to talk to people. That's why I'm going to Iowa for a week and talking to Democratic voters. You have to talk to people to understand, what's on their mind, how they think, and where they're going. But there's a lot of hubris here, and I think it's going to backfire on them. That's just the arrogance I found with a lot of the Democrats in wake of Monday's rally. Like, I expected at least some of them to say, you know what, there's a lot of people who came out here. We respect their enthusiasm. We really need to understand their point of view. And then go ahead and vote the way you want. But it was completely dismissed. And of course, the fake news media, the lying fake newsers, tried to position it as something it was not. As you know, it was completely without incident. Denver. So in Congress, are you guys tied up with this impeachment thing? Are you going to get anything done, and when?
Well, now we're in a year of we're in an election year, and I'm going to be pushing Purple Star very hard. I think we're going to be looking at a lot of bills on telehealth and telemedicine that I'm jumping on. I'm working on healthcare hard for the South District, specifically for our federally funded community health centers. There's a lot to do, and I have 215 bills in that I've co-sponsored, 10 where I'm the lead. I'm working so hard, not only on the deregulation side, but on the addiction side, trying to stop addiction, specifically trying to deregulate loans for rural housing. There's things we should actually do. But what's going to happen, people need to know this. So how about I be honest here? We're in the minority. And what's going to happen in an election year, nobody on the Democratic side is going to work with us. And I hope people know why, and it's going to be pretty blunt. It's because they don't want to be primaried by the far left. So you have a huge push by the Progressive Caucus to take out any moderate Democrats. So they're going to have a tough time signing on the bills. But it's the same problem we have sometimes, right? Where you have people, who are circular firing squad trying to kill anything that works in government or in the party. So that's what's going on. The Democrats have their own circular firing squad on the far left. So they don't want their bipartisan scores to go too high in the very radical districts. And in the swing districts, they're afraid money's going to be put against them for primaries. It is really, for the Democrats, they're just not going to be able to get anything done in the House, and the Republicans are going to have to push really hard to try to get through some technical bills that can help people.
Let's talk about telemedicine across state lines. Marsha Blackburn has been pushing for this. People, again, they don't understand if we're going to go to telemedicine, why they have to be restricted to state. Is there a bill that can open this up? Because I was talking to Americans for Prosperity the other day, and they said, we spend all this time working on the demand side of health care. To bring prices down, we need to increase supply. That brings down prices, Economics 101. Where are we with that?
Well, it's also significant certificates of need, right? But I got a bill for you. I am a co-sponsor on H.R. 4900. Telehealth across state lines. And our own synopsis from my own office, so the people know this, it creates uniform national best practices for the provision of telehealth across state lines and a 5-year grant program to incentivize the expansion of telehealth programs to reach rural communities. So it was based after the Rural Broadband Loan Grant Program, for instance.
Right.
This year, the 5th District, we got $62 million, maybe one of the biggest in the country. We serviced almost 30,000 households. Our staff, I started the USDA Reconnect training program. I'm so happy. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Rural health and broadband go together. We can save billions of dollars if we invest smartly through private incentivization and grants. If we do this smartly, we can save billions of dollars in the health sector and increase supply. The thing we're going to have is a huge pushback from health managers who hate the fact that they would not have control of the market. AFP's right on this. We have got to make sure we make telemedicine, telehealth, telecounseling, telepsychiatry, all those things absolutely available. Because we have other things too, right? High suicide rates, PTSD, mental health challenges. All this can at least be mitigated to some degree if everybody had connectivity and could get into the health system without having to drive somewhere. Plus, we could save millions of miles on automobiles. We could help those who have no transportation. This is the right thing to do. I'm going to push forward on this. That's why I'm a co-sponsor on the telehealth across state lines bill. And I just talked to AFP about that last night, and I'm ready to swing the bat on this.
We've got to get some of this stuff done. I got a couple more minutes. We're with Denver Riggleman, Congressman, Republican, 5th District, Southside Virginia. You're also a co-sponsor in a bill fixing surprise billing, and I've been talking about this for months. You're one of the co-sponsors. Let me just ask you something. Whether you're Democrat, Republican, or the Democrats are afraid to get primaried by AOC's organization, why would a progressive Democrat not sign on to fixing surprise billing and getting the patient out of the middle of trying to negotiate their own payment after they've been surprised by something? Why wouldn't that be completely bipartisan? Explain that to me.
Too many Republicans like it.
You're kidding me, right?
No. This is completely political. It's the reason, months ago, and sometimes, John, you've asked me, we had part of the conversations, why?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
You had a life, right? You're
right.
CEO, have your own distillery, your own counterterrorism companies. What the heck would possess you to want to do this? And now that I'm looking at it, you know what? I want to tell you this. It is an awful job that is the best thing I've ever done.
Why?
And because with service, you're going to get your face ripped off. Mm-hmm. Don't sacrifice. But when I saw the 40 roll through, I'm working on those things.
Yeah, we're losing you. We've lost your cell signal. I'm still trying to figure out why you're in this job. I still haven't figured that one out, but Denver Riggleman, I think, is in good shape for his renomination campaign, trying to get telemedicine across state lines and working on surprise billing